Hello, this is the 2022 NHT Exam 2, question 4 of networks. We've got a local library, upgrading facilities, 10 activities A through J, table with predecessors and durations, activity times are in weeks. Okay. Table 2 shows the EST and LST of activities A, B, C. The EST for C and LST for B is missing. Use the information to complete the table. Then we also have the network drawn below, it looks like. So, I'm going to use the table, the diagram rather. So I want the EST, the LST of B, the EST of C. So the EST of C should be 3 from the diagram. So it's there. And then the LST of B is going to be this one here. Excuse me, hello. Sorry, stylus not working. And the LST of B is going to be the same as the EST of B since it's critical because it's a bridge activity. So it's going to be just a 2. I suppose you could do all of that from the table by recognizing that that's true. But if I had a question like this, I would probably draw the diagram and then get my information from the diagram. They've already drawn the diagram for me, so I'm not going to draw it. So that's nice, all done. Okay, the directed activity shows activities, blah, blah, blah. Activity G is missing, draw G. So G comes after DF and before J. So after DF, which is there, before J, which is there. So that's going to be activity there. So G with a duration of 8. Okay. Minimum completion time, so we're going to find the longest route through the graph. So we know that these are going to be critical. We know that's critical. And then to get from here, this vertex to this vertex, we're going to figure out how long it's going to take. So it's going to be 16 there. It could be 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 7 is 17, so that's longer. We can see that the 4 and the 3 is going to be the same as the 7. And so we've got 7 plus 3 is 10 plus 7 is 17, or 7 plus 8, which is 15. So it's going to be this route here. That's critical, I believe. So 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 7 is 10, plus 10 is 20, plus 3 is 23. So 23 weeks. All right, and then this one, which is a bit of a doozy. So we've got a change has been made to 2 activities. One activity has its duration increased by 3 a second, which has a duration greater than 3 has had its duration decreased by 3. Okay, the overall completion time is not changed. Identify all pairs of activities that could have had their completion times changed. For each pair identified, specify which activity will have an increase and which will have a decrease. Righty, so we've got to increase 1 by 3 and decrease 1 by 3 in pairs and make it so that the critical path duration does not change. So, looking at the many different ways of getting through the graph, increasing that by 3 will mean that the 7 plus 3 route there, which was 10, would no longer be critical. So it's going to be really tricky to try to use the E. And I think with questions like this, like it's just hard to spot it. But trying to find something to refer to is sort of a very vague approach for these questions. But there is some symmetry in this question that we can kind of see this idea. We've got some triangles doing some things, and so spotting that may assist you. But the reality is, for a question like this, you're gonna have to sit and stare and play with ideas for a long time. It works out that, and after me having a look at this for about 15 minutes, I've kind of spotted the symmetry. So I want to use the triangles to my advantage. So we can look at the F and the C pair. If I increased the F by 3, that would become 6, and then the C would become 1, and that would mean that route still takes 7. And then the same logic applies for the H and the I pair. If you increase the H by 3, that becomes 6, and that becomes 4, which means that's still a 10, right? So 3 plus 7 is 10, 6 plus 4 is still 10. And so kind of spotting the symmetry there, and so we've got these parts of the triangle and then these parts of the triangle. Maybe will help you, but again, the reality for a question like this is it's just going to be really tricky to spot it. So we've got CF, so we're going to increase F and decrease C. So increase F, decrease C, or we've got increase, my stylus keeps stopping working, sorry for that. We've got increase H and decrease DEC I. And that's it. So that's the answer. Again, pretty brutal question. There are only two. Again, to be certain you've got all your pairs, you're going to have to sit here and probably spend, another 10 minutes just looking at the question, assuming that you have time. But that's the nature of networks questions, I guess. So I hope that helps, and I will see you in the next one.